Hello and welcome back. In this video we will be looking at the ps command. This command is primarily used for reports and snapshots of the current processes on your system. Very useful for debugging and checking out what's running, what's not. If something is up or down, it's usually a good place to start on your system or any Linux-based system. Let's look at what that is, and let's go for man ps, not pass ps, but it does. So good. So you can see, so that's short for process status. Makes sense. And it takes a couple of options and various formats. You can also get different formatting options out of that based on the report you're trying to generate. It takes a number of arguments, and we go down the list. A displays information about user's process. So bear in mind, because Linux and Unix systems are usually shared systems, shared resources across multiple users running in the same operating system at any given point, PS can also give you the opportunity to see which processes are running on a specific user. So all the flags and options you have would allow you to be able to do that. And lowercase a display information about users, process as well as your own. So that gives you an overall picture of what's there and so forth. If you go down through the man page, lots of options. So this is something that we should have a quick look at. Because once you start getting more involved with the Linux side of things, having a quick way to identify what's running on your system would be very useful. So, for example, without any parameters, let me clear that up so I can full screen. PS. Now, PS so far, PS only identify a single shell, a single process. But if I want to see all my current processes on the my user account, PS, maybe we go A, U, and X. There you go, a long list of processes. And you can see, if you look at this carefully, you will see that the first column, the users, the process IDs, the CPU usage, you can also see the memory usage and a number of other properties. And then what's interesting, you can see the started time when this process was started. You can also see as I said, the user, that's myself, who started this process, and the very application that is running that process would be something like OBS. OBS is the tool I'm using to record this video, so you can see that right there. You can also see that it's CPU intensive. It's taking up 74% CPU usage. So I won't be able to do lots of additional processor intensive work while recording these videos. So I keep things very simple on this machine. And you can see root. Under the root, there are additional processes running, and you can see what that is. If you follow that all the way across, all the way around, yes. So you can see all the various applications I have running and so forth. So this is a pretty good tool to look at what's running on your system. And for example, because this tool outputs such a large list of processes, you might want to go back to previous lesson where we talk about grep and use grep to help you filter this file to get down to specific lines. For example, if I wanted to do that, I'll have to introduce you to a concept that's called pipe, where it's just a vertical bar. And if I go grep, and I'll explain how this vertical bar works if you're not familiar with that. It's Unix-based pipe mechanism which collects the output from one program and pass it on to to the other. In this case, we're getting this output that you would see on the screen. We're passing that to grep as the source. And within that, we're going to look for my name. Let's look for that and see what we have. So this should return me all the lines that contain just my name. And there you have it. You've started to filter this down, so you could be looking through this file for specific things like memory usage, or if you're looking for a specific program, like for example, if we go up, let's go back here and let's list that down. So if you go PS, not pass, PS AUX, which you can look at the man page for the meaning behind these flags. And from here, we pipe that in to grep and say, go through all the results from the PS, the process status, and select and filter out items that match. So if I say something like, let's look for anything that starts with quick. See, quick. Good. So we got quite a number of things running. Quick look. Quick look is one of those processes running on the Mac that allow you to see files and folders by just hitting the space bar temporarily. So that's it. That's the process status tool. But what would be interesting, for example, with the process status tool, what we normally use it for is to look at what we call the PID, the process ID, the process ID of a specific process. So I could copy this process ID and I could use that process ID in further application. Like I could use that process ID to kill that process, which is something we might touch on in the future. But don't go on killing processes unless you know exactly why and what. And there are best practices in doing so. If you kill the wrong processes, you could destabilize your system and effectively lose all the work your unsaved work. So bear in mind, that's a way to terminate unwanted processes. If you find a process on your system maybe doing more than you expect and possibly hogging resources, which you would be better off killing that if it's not at a cost of losing your work. Well, I think that's a good little introduction to the process status. Catch me in the next one. Hope you find that useful, and please go around, play around, investigate, look at your system and see what's running there. Become familiar with your system, and the computers that you work on is always profitable. Thanks again. Catch you in the next one.